So, did you guys figure out the answer to test number 6? I'm sure you did. So, let me show you what I asked you in number 6. Here's the chart. I asked you if this person will have a good married life or not. And in his birth chart, the main birth chart that you see on your left-hand side, it has Venus in the ascendant, in the rising sign, the first house in the sign of Scorpio. And then Jupiter was in the third house, debilitated in the sign of Capricorn. And then you had Saturn in the sign of Leo in the 10th house. Now that was a birth chart. But whenever you look at a marriage, you also want to cut open the house surgically that represents the marriage, which is the 9th house. Even though 7th house is a marriage, 9th house is considered marriage as a divisional chart because it's fortune. Your marriage is like you getting a fortune. Apparently that's not the case for now, is it? You're getting an invitation to divorce court. But when you cut open that and you see the D9 chart, you saw a Cancer ascendant chart with Venus in Libra in the 4th house, with Jupiter again debilitated in the 7th house, and Saturn in the 11th house in the sign of Taurus. So how is this person love life or married life is going to be? Well, this person apparently is going to have a very, very beautiful marriage. That's right. Well, let's discuss the birth chart first. Okay. Whenever, like, you have Venus in Scorpio, and Venus is aspecting its own sign, Taurus. Anytime you have a planet that is in a certain sign, whether good or bad, but it's aspecting its own house, it will never damage that house. It might be feeling bad sitting in that house. It might not be doing good sitting in that house, but it will only, damage itself and the house that it's sitting in, but it will never try to damage the house that is aspected. So Venus here is damaged in the sign of Scorpio. People think that because it's in water sign, it is, should be good. No. Scorpio energy is a very, very, chaotic energy, and Venus doesn't want to be there. Venus feel jealous, Venus feel trapped, Venus, her emotions are unstable because Scorpio people are a bit nuts, as you know, the sign of Scorpio. So yeah, Venus doesn't feel really good there, but since it's aspecting its own house, the 7th house, it's not gonna throw those negative rays on it. It'll try to protect it the best way possible. And in the birth chart, Saturn is looking at the 7th house from its 10th aspect, okay, because Saturn looks at the 3rd, 7th, and 10th place from itself. So what it's also doing is that it's giving the inclination towards getting a mature partner, somebody who might be 2 or 3 years old or 5 years older than this person, okay? In a case of a guy, he will get a older woman, okay? But since Saturn is sitting in its enemy sign, Leo, it's not a very good aspect. Saturn is just not feeling too good being in that sign. So again, yes, it can cause a bit of a turbulence in a marriage because of those reasons. Then you have Jupiter debilitated in Capricorn. And what happens when Jupiter is debilitated, especially when a Dasha comes, it gives you a lot of wealth, it gives you what it's supposed to give you, but it also takes it away in that Dasha. That's what the negative quality that appears when Jupiter is debilitated, okay? And Jupiter from the 3rd house is aspecting the 7th house of marriage, okay? So it could be causing harm. It could be, giving this person a marriage and then, causing a divorce for this person, So that's what is happening. But then you cannot judge, even though this is like an average chart, you can't really judge a marriage unless you see the divisional chart. So what's happening in the divisional chart? So when you look at a Nimansha chart, there's something very special happening. And out of all of the people who commented on all of my networks, including YouTube, only 2 people kind of mentioned this thing. There's something that is happening in this chart that is actually creating something better than an Excel planet and something better than a Neech Bhanga. Okay, so this particular planet is becoming far more powerful in a positive way, and that is Jupiter. Why? Anytime you have a planet in a birth chart, no matter if it's debilitated or excelled or neutral or any sign, if that planet is sitting in the same sign in the Nimansha chart, that planet becomes what is known as Vargotama planet, meaning this planet becomes absolutely powerful. But when the planet is Virgotama, it most of the time gives beautiful, beautiful results, especially when your Virgotama planet is in Kendra in the D9 chart. And this is especially from my studies. And no, it wasn't perfect. You know, I think I would say out of the 6-7 charts that I studied with the Virgotama, 4 out of those 7 charts that had the planet in Kendra, you know, in the same sign, did far better than planet in the other sign as a Virgotama. Now remember, Jupiter as a Virgotama planet, or any planet as a Virgotama debilitated, excelled, or neutral, can also be bad. You know, a debilitated Jupiter as a Virgotama can also be really bad. But in this case, why it's good is because it is friendly to the ascendant, okay? Jupiter is a positive planet for Scorpio ascendant, and Jupiter is a positive planet for Cancer ascendant. Now, if this was occurring, let's say Jupiter was in Capricorn and Scorpio ascendant for the main chart, but it was Virgotama with a Taurus ascendant in the D9 chart, then Jupiter will give bad results because Jupiter is an enemy of the Taurus ascendant. It rules the bad houses. So in that case, you can say, okay, there's going to be either neutral or turbulent marriage. However, in this case, it is positive because it's receiving a Neech Bhanga Raj Yoga with Saturn in the birth chart, and it is Virgotama with the friendly ascendant of Cancer. And the reason why I gave you guys this as an example is because I studied actually 2 charts of married people where their Jupiter was debilitated and it was in Virgotama's situation while they were influencing the married house. Not the same alignment, but you know, it was aspecting or sitting in the 7th house in one of the other cases, and they have been married for like 20 years. You know, one was married for 15 years, beautiful marriage, you know. So this is why I'm presenting this to you, because of the fact I did these studies and that's what I found out. Now, I do not have too much experience with Virgotama planet, but I give you this scenario because of the fact I saw it and I tested it, but only in very small amount of situation. Because of this person will have a beautiful married life because Jupiter is sitting in there as a Virgotama planet in the Mancha. Then again, Venus is getting its directional strength sitting in the 4th house, and it's an own sign in the house of home, again giving a beautiful, you know, indication towards a marriage. Then Saturn, okay, Saturn is in 11th house in the sign of Taurus, Venus sign, but it's in a Pacha sign, and it's in the sign of its friend where it's excelled in Libra. Okay, so it's giving absolutely good relationship with the wife's family because it's aspecting the 8th house in the D9 chart. So this creates, in a way, you can then judge just from these 3 planets. We're not using other planets or degrees or nothing. Just from these 3 planets, you can say, okay, this person will have a beautiful married life. And also remember, in the birth chart, there's also a Neech Bhanga happening for Jupiter because Saturn, the Lord where Jupiter is debilitated, is in Kendra. Okay, so Neech Bhanga is happening. So that was one indication that, okay, the Jupiter aspect is not going to be as bad. But again, it's considering family relations. Okay, wife becomes a family. So it's still going to hurt in that sense. Remember one thing. In Vedic astrology, when you get a software, Vedic astrology software, they ask you which way you want to calculate a birth chart. Do you want to use the calculation of the KP system or Lahiri or BV Raman? Okay, I use KP system because I found KP system to be far more accurate for me. Does that mean the other systems are bad? No. Maybe you found the other system's calculation better, but this is just my personal preference because sometimes when you use a BV Raman in chart calculation versus Lahiri versus KP, they'll give you different divisional chart calculation. But I found KP to be the same, KP to be, you know, quite accurate. So I use that. Anyway, guys, this was my answer to test number 6. I'll be back with test number 7 end of this week. Otherwise, I'm going to see you tomorrow with more rising sign videos. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe above because you're going to be learning here, learning with a little bit of comedy. And if you want to know more about astrology, check out the link below and my book, Their Astrology at the Speed of Light. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.